we are. Are you Christmas ready?
I was just wondering if we were going to make reference to seasonal,
course,
like what time of year it is. Amazing. Yes, 95%.
Well, you got your turkey.
The turkey arrived because I told you the
Very
dog was pulling the turkey box around the entry hallway after it was discarded. That was fun. It was bizarre. He just like sprang up and ran at it out of nowhere.
Could you smell that it was meat?
No, not even remotely. But the weird thing
I wouldn't think it would transfer, but it must really transfer.
It was like a box within a box as well. So it was properly sealed. But then Ted, some primal level, he was like, "There's meat here. I need to investigate." From a dead sleep, sprinting across the house.
Senses, yeah.
So how about you? Are you just about ready? Because I think you're traveling.
No.
When do you guys leave?
Christmas Eve, which is the worst day to leave. We've decided to make Christmas as hard as we possibly can. So, yes, it's fine. It'll be fine. I feel a bit grinchy, which is very unusual for me. And everything just seems to be a bit of an upheaval, but we're getting there.
We've got a few days.
Monmouth was nice, and it was nice to see it back after the floods, which was very nice. I got a few little stocking fillers from there.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was okay. And then dropped some Christmas cards off on the dog walk. That was good. So I'm doing all the right things. I like Christmas cards. They make me smile.
Well, there you go. If it's part of you, if it's part of uplifting you and getting you in the mood for the season, then that's cool.
I'm fine.
I just thought nobody wants my disease card. Nobody wants a card to come through and be like, ugh.
I don't really understand that. I don't do Christmas cards, trollop, but that's okay. That's fine. You do you. I don't get upset if I don't get Christmas cards. If I've written to someone and they haven't written to me, I'm not.
You don't do the vengeance.
No,
crossing out of the
I'm quite
address.
chill about it. Yeah, I'll tell you what we used Christmas cards for this year, which was good. We ran out of gift tags, so what I did was cut out the pictures of old Christmas cards and put the whole page through them. Yeah, and that kind of saved our bacon.
Such a good idea.
I know, and they look quite cute actually. They're clearly not. You can tell they're a Christmas card cutter, but they do the job. So
I really like it. I think that's a good way to upcycle an old Christmas card as well.
Exactly. So if it's an environmental thing, I've given them a new lease of life, and they'll eventually be recycled. So
Love it.
I'm trying on that front. So yes, just a little bit more wrapping.
That's my last super task, is the last little bit of wrapping, and then making sure the ovens are clean enough that when Paul is cooking the dinner, it's not smoke billowing out. That's how I help.
Yeah, cleaning ovens is
there's that service, isn't there? Oven pig, they will come to your house and they will just clean your oven. You just give them a cup of tea and go, see you in a few hours, buddy. And they make it new. I don't know what toxic chemicals are involved, but I like the sound of that.
You probably don't want the food after it.
Not the first 2 or 3 cooks will be a bit
stingy taste. Yeah.
Just cook spicy stuff. No one will ever know.
That's very true. So would you like to hear? Well, not just one story, Cara. Today you got a triple threat of stories.
A selection box of wonderful ladies.
Oh, that
I
makes
love
me
it.
happy. Yes,
Bring
a
it
selection
on.
box of women. So we did this last year, which is basically women of 2025, and just people who you may not have heard in the news who have done amazing things, and we would like to shine a little light on them because you can change history at any time. And it just mixes it up a little bit, I thought, as well.
Lovely.
And I've tried to get a good cross-section of different, industries, I guess, and geographical range and ages. So I've tried
Brilliant.
to, spread the love wide. But it was really hard, I'll be honest, to drill down the list. I should have done a top of the pops. Exactly, there was so many more I could have spoken about. Particularly one lady on my list was Ellie Dunn, who is the rugby player who won the Women's World Cup with the Roses.
Oh, cool.
And she's amazing and inspirational and super duper. Who else was there? There was a photographer who had done a range, Cara Romana, I think her name was, and she'd done a range of portraits that were like women as dolls and like, so a little bit of an ode to women aren't playthings, but also like the diversity of her life and history. That was really fascinating. And yeah, there's just so many. So many. So I've got 3 for you today. The first one, Sanae Takaichi, who is the now Japanese Prime Minister. She is the first female to hold that title, which is very exciting. And on top of, I know, it's very cool. And on top of that, Cara, she's 64.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I know. So she's like ticking all those boxes, and it also proves you're never too old to make history, which is very exciting that she's actually smashed that boundary at 64. So I really like the story because it shows keep striving for what you believe in, what you want. She also failed to secure this role 2 times before, so it's also a very good lesson of not giving up.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the kind of role that you would have to work your way up to, like anyone. But the fact that she went for it and didn't get it and carried on, didn't get put off, that is super impressive. I don't think there's a lot of American politicians, for example, who do that. If they fail, they're done.
Yeah, I guess I could never be in politics for that sole reason. Like, I need external validation far too much. It's unhealthy. But she's a very interesting character. So she actually cites Margaret Thatcher as an inspiration, which immediately makes you go, oh no, it's not great. But she wants to be, and she's been quoted in interviews as saying this, Japanese very own Iron Lady. Because of that, as you would expect, her views tend to be quite conservative, for example, on immigration. But the other interesting parallel with Thatcher is her humble beginnings. So she was brought up in a part of Japan called Nara, which I've actually been to. And it's really
cool.
Stunning and beautiful. They have a deer park there where deers just roam free. And I made friends with a few deers that day. It's really stunning. Yeah, really beautiful. And actually, this sets her apart a bit in the Japanese government because a lot of them, I guess it's like as an Etonian pipeline of politics. Yeah, so apparently there's something similar in Japan where they all come through a certain pipeline, but A is different. So the other cool thing about her is that she's a rocker. So she played in a rock band. Yes, she's a drummer, and she was part of a band. They did really, quite a lot of performances. They were fairly successful. She's into heavy metal bands like Iron Maiden, Deep Purple, and she still has an electric drum kit at home.
In many ways, this is the most shocking thing you've said so far, because
it's such a juxtaposition, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Like a conservative politician who's trying to rock out is like, what? But okay, cool.
So
all right.
Other cool things about her is she likes to scuba dive and she's really into cars. I'm not making it up. It all sounds like I'm making it up, but I'm not.
Genuinely, this is a fascinating, multifaceted individual. Good for her. Oh my God.
And her car, which was a Toyota, of course, Supra, is now on display at the Nara Museum. She's also had a background in media, but like I said earlier, that she has definitely worked her way up. So there's a little quote there in red just about her rungs of the ladder to get to the top.
She ran in her first parliamentary election in 1992 as an independent, but lost. She persisted, winning a seat a year later and joining the LDP in 1996. Since then, she's been elected as an MP 10 times, losing only once, and built a reputation as one of the party's most outspoken conservative voices.
Yeah, so LDP is Liberal Democrat Party, but she's on, which I know, Frown, you said she's like Thatcher, but she's very much on the right side of that. So she's very conservative member of the party. Yeah. She is best known as the protege of the late Prime Minister Sheyna Patel, and she has worked in his cabinet for a long time, and she's kind of had lots of different roles. And all this adds up to her ability to do the job, doesn't it? Despite her being compared to Thatcher quite a lot, particularly on roles like immigration, her tone has softened a lot in recent campaigns. And I think that's her listening and responding. For example, she vowed to make babysitters' fees tax deductible in some part, and she proposed corporate tax breaks for companies that provide in-house childcare services. And if you know Thatcher, you know Thatcher would never, ever in a million years have considered these policies. So, I just want to differentiate. I'm not saying this woman's Thatcher.
She's like rolling with the times by the sounds of it, and her own society. That's really interesting.
It is really, and it also, yes, and it also shows that in tune piece, which is kind of what you were saying, because Japan does have an aging society, so care services and households are multi-generational. She understands what impacts them, so really, really interesting. And then she took office this year, which is fantastic. So that is our first lady of the day, Sanae Takaichi.
Conservative political scuba diving rocker with a car hobby. There's a lot going on, but
also doesn't she sound interesting?
Yes, and for a country as old as Japan to only now have a female leader is it's well time, and hopefully she's using it to do great things where she can, like putting those childcare initiatives in place.
Absolutely. Love that. So this one is a lot more closer to home. Our second lady of 2025 is Alison Westwood. And I'm bringing you to rural Wales. That's where we're going. So 10 minutes away from us. Yes. And I'm going to take you back in time just to recent history of 2020. In the rural valleys of Bridgend, the pandemic has hit. And obviously that is causing huge amounts of anxiety, huge amounts of isolations. Communities are completely shattered. Those on furlough or recently employed, was it isolation? What was it called when we were lockdown? You're not allowed to get in a car with anyone. Public transport isn't on. And particularly in those really rural places, that is a huge lifeline. In the rolling hills of rural Wales, this really impacted on food security. It was already difficult for people on the poverty line or struggling to get food, let alone before all these other restrictions were put in place by the government. On top of that, there's a pride aspect, isn't there, when you're on the poverty line? I was really shocked, I guess, when I volunteered for a food bank in Milton Keynes, and I wasn't prepared for the emotion that comes with it, like the amount of people that were just crying their eyes out, and we were there as a look, we're here to help you kind of thing. But I just didn't appreciate the pride aspect of that. It is complex, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. And people often want to pay their way. They don't want handouts. But this is where Alison Westwood, a retired physiotherapist and also a meningitis survivor, saw a gap, and it needed more than just a temporary fix. It needed a full-on movement. Alison, alongside with her husband John and the support of Reach Rural Development, realised that the solution was already sitting in warehouses. There was tons of surplus food, almost always likely destined for landfills. And this could be like supermarkets, if they can't sell it, they bin it, right? Because of law.
That is insane.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Yeah.
It's shocking, literally shocks me.
It's
that
mad.
Perfectly edible food is getting tossed to waste when people are hungry. I just can't see how that's okay. I'm going to hold tight because I feel like we're going someplace positive with this. So
it's slightly better than it is actually now. Like, your outrage is completely valid. So before, you used to get best befores on like fresh food, so like lettuces, tomato, cucumber. They've done away with that now, which means that supermarkets aren't bound by those best before dates, which means you can basically set, and also it means that there's less food at the house end as well, because the people quite rightly relied on those days. So if it's like a day out, you don't want to give that to your kids. It's out of date, and that would obviously contribute to the waste. So actually, that's a really positive thing that's happened in recent years. I think that was after the pandemic, actually.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. It is insane that, and also it takes so much to grow this food as well. Like, you know, we're very lucky that a lot of our food is subsidized in this country, but like it's so difficult to grow food in the first place. And then we're like, and like it says here, like they're in warehouses just rotting. It's absolutely insane. God. Yes. So what Alison did in 2020, she did this very coy thing of launching a pilot, which is a very cool strategy for if you're wanting to make inroads into anything new, or if to challenge anything in certain ways, whether it's at work or in your community or whatever, just chuck the word pilot in there, because what that means is that you're not asking them to commit completely. You're just asking them just to see if something works. Let's just give it a go. It's not that big a deal. Let's just run a pilot, you know, and actually
I love this.
The risk. It's such a good tactic to reduce risk. So she was very shrewd there. She was like, let's just do a pilot. And then,
big thing. Come on.
Big thing.
Who's going to say no to that? Be reasonable.
And she had 4 community venues in the valleys, so like I said, Rolling Hills of Wales in Bridgend. And she basically made an offer of all the surplus food from the supermarkets. She was bagging that up, and she said, look, for £5 you get this massive bag of food, right? I think within the bags it was at least 15 items. Okay, so 15 items, that could easily get you, I don't know, a family of 4 for a week, right? 15 different ingredients. That £5 covered the food, but it also covered the community centres heating and lighting, and made it a sustainable business model. And this is kind of really hanging on that emotional piece that I was talking about earlier, because people don't want handouts. They're embarrassed. They're shocked. They're probably at their lowest point, and then, you know, it's really hard sometimes, isn't it, to accept charity. And this is the problem that she was fixing. She was encouraging more people to come, in a way, by asking for £5, because then you're opening it up again. You're opening it up to the masses, and you're helping more people that way.
That makes perfect sense, because then she can rightly and truly say, this stuff was going to waste, but for £5, I can afford to box it all up. And not only are you not just taking a handout, you're actually supporting your community, because that money is also supporting the community center. So that's just like everybody wins.
Isn't it? And no one's degraded, no one's demoralized. Kids have food in their bellies. Like, it's brilliant. And it was such a success. Like, the response of this was really overwhelming, that by May the next year, so what's that, 5, 6, 7 months later, they'd gone from 4 to 12 pantries, right, within the valleys. Yeah.
That's a good pilot.
Then by September that year, they'd had actually diverted 45 tons of food from landfill.
Holy
it's disgusting.
That's wild.
And this is just like in rural Wales.
Yeah, one place, like across the nation. What scale is this wastage happening on?
I know, because I was thinking, there's 1.5 million people in Wales, maybe something like that. Like, and it's helping that many families. Like this, she's on to a winner, isn't she? Absolutely. Alison knew for this to last, it needed to kind of be a bit more formalized, you know what I mean? Because you're right, it was a pilot, it was a very successful pilot, but now is the time to make it, you know, a little bit more formal. So she actually formed the community interest company, which is called Baobab. And you're thinking, Vicky, why are you saying such a strange word? Is that Welsh? No, it's not Welsh. And there's a little explanation of why it's called Baobab.
Okay. Why Baobab? In Africa, the Baobab tree is the tree of life, a meeting place that provides food and water. Alison envisioned her pantries as more than shops. She wanted them to be the Baobabs of South Wales.
Baobabs. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I
was thinking like Baobab.
Running at it.
I don't know. Great. So through a partnership with Link Cymru and Welsh Government funding, the project evolved, Cymru, isn't it? Cymru. It wasn't about bags of food anymore. It was about cafes, hubs, basically those community places. So places where volunteers could come, support services. So, food is one aspect, but there's so many other parts when you're on the poverty line. And then what she actually managed to do was turn a grocery trip into a point of real human connection. I know.
Lovely.
Fast forward to late 2025, we are now at 18 pantries and collaborative services across 3 different Welsh counties. Alison's vision has reached the most unlikely places, including schools and even a local prison. The impact is staggering. We were shocked at 45 tonnes of food. We're now at 400 tonnes of edible food being saved from landfill. I know. And that means that also 48,000 households have been supported, which is really lush.
Incredible.
Yeah. Allison this year was honoured with the 2025 Environmental Game Changer Award, and that was honoured to her by the magazine Women and Home at the Amazing Woman Awards this year, which is how I found her in the first place. Alison's mission isn't over. She's trying to shift her focus towards nutritional resilience. So that means teaching how to cook from scratch, distributing recipes, encouraging gardening, all around fresh fruit and vegetables. Alison's philosophy is simple. When you empower a community to pay their way and support one another, you don't just fill the cupboards, but you rebuild an entire village.
Oh, what a delightful story.
Yeah. Gosh. And that picture of her at the top is from Woman and Home magazine.
Oh, she looks so happy.
I think she's getting recognised. It's really nice. It's a very humble, happy story. And just shows, doesn't it, that change doesn't mean big. It doesn't mean flashy. It just means change, doesn't it?
But also, like, the counterbalance of that like, she was an impressive person with an impressive career, but she wasn't a head of a supermarket. She wasn't a politician. Yeah. She was just someone who went, oh, this isn't right. I'm going to need to do something about this. How cool that just anybody who thinks, nope, not happy with this, can make such a difference. And I mean, she must be a remarkable woman to have achieved what she has. But what an example that, there's no, oh, well, I'm just me. I don't have anything to do with that. Like, no, just get on with it. Good for her.
I reckon she's a force of nature as well. Yeah. So that was our second lady. And we're whizzing across the pond to the States for our third female today, who is Sheyna Patel. Sheyna is 14 years old. And so she's a girl who changed history, that's for sure. And she has done something that is absolutely mind-blowing. So this 14-year-old girl has designed something that could save ecosystems and food chains in the ocean. She is from Florida and goes to Orlando Science School, which is a STEM-focused, tuition-free public charter school.
Wow.
And I've already remembered one of the people I should have said at the top of this, Alice Walton, who is, I think, like the 20th rich person in the world. Like, she is the Walmart heiress, and she this year has launched a school teaching women primarily, like medicine, basically, to be doctors and nurses, and it's a medical school, and she free tuition.
That is incredible.
What an amazing thing to do with your billions of pounds.
Right? Like, putting that money to good use.
Oh, God.
I think recent political changes mean that nursing tuition is not subsidized or given grants in the same way that it previously has been. So there's going to be a real shortfall, I think, of nurses. And maybe this is another one of those cases where she's gone, well, it's not my field, but that's not right, and I'm going to do something about it. She has the means to do something incredible.
Oh my God. Just why are we not all doing that with our billions? So, sorry, this does not take away from Sheyna Patel in anything, but it's just my mind went tuition free, and I was like, oh, that was another one. So Sheyna's at school, and she has managed, whilst at school, to design a hydrogel, which is capable of removing, get this, 93% of microplastics from water.
What?
You've just saved the world, Shayna. Okay, cash. So, a hydrogel, which I didn't I didn't know they existed, but it is a gel and it's soft and flexible. It looks a bit like that slime that kids play with. It's a network of water that is swollen polymer chains that absorb huge amounts of water, and they're often used in a lot of products. So, for example, nappies and things like that. It's just it's a sucker.
Oh, like that stuff that's in the absorbent layer of a nappy that like kind of bulks up when it gets wet.
Yes. So microplastics are any fragment of plastic that is between 1 nanometer and 5 millimeters wide. So a nanometer is like the width of your hair. And a millimeter is like 5 millimeters is like if you had a wedding band. That's kind of the general gist. So anything between those two sizes is known as a microplastic. Some of microplastics are intentionally made that way. So that was a huge scandal, wasn't there, about there being in face washes and stuff like that.
Oh, like the little beads.
Remember?
Yeah.
That was a scandal, wasn't it? Like, what are we doing with the world? But sometimes it's just larger plastics that have been eroded, and now they're nanoplastics. So, junk in the ocean that has been eroded so much. So there's like two types of microplastics. They're very common. They're found in water, soil, even the air nowadays, which is absolutely terrifying. Some adults could potentially be consuming between 39,000 and 52,000 microplastic particles per year.
My God.
Yeah, and they have been found actually in the walls of arteries. So it's a huge problem. It's scary.
And I guess the food chain is affected. If it's in the ocean, then the animals in the ocean are eating that, and then that transfers upwards, and we sit high on the food chain. We eat kind of everything. So we eat a compounded number of these things. But you're saying you can even just inhale and breathe them in.
It's so depressing. Yeah.
That is
that's
really
a good point.
scary.
So they've been found to make soil less fertile, so when you're harvesting foods of a lesser quality, and they've also been found to speed up the melting of snow and ice in places like the Arctic. Yes, it's a bit dark actually. I should have maybe jazzed that paragraph up.
No, but that you're showing the importance of the work, because
impact.
Oh my God.
Yes. So the other thing we need to know about microplastics is that they carry a negative charge. So I want you to think like batteries, north and south polar, that kind of thing. That's the area that we're in. They have a negative charge, whilst an hydrogel has a positive charge. So Patel, her prototype focused on polyethylene terephthalate, which is the PET plastics. You know those, yeah?
I know that acronym. Yeah, I don't know the name, but that PET, you're like,
butchered it, yeah. And so they tend to be the ones that are in plastic bottles, that kind of thing. And she found in a lab, so in a really contained area, that her version of this hydrogel actually had a huge, significant removal rate, and it just sucked all the plastics up. It like gobbled them up. And there's a really fascinating YouTube video of her showing it. She's like whipping up this gel and it grows so quick. It's fascinating. Obviously, this is very different using this in a lab than it would be if it was a river or like a really complex chemical environment. But what she has done is prove within her invention that there's a path forward. Like, it's an option. She's also shown that they can be removed, because I think there was this kind of hands up, it's out there now kind of thing. And actually what she's shown is that proof is in the pudding. There's an option. And it also showed to me when I was reading this story that ideas can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to be the fancy, yes, it was a lab, but it doesn't have to be the fancy Cambridges or the Oxfords, or a bit like we were just saying with Alison, you can make an impact at any level that you're at. And I'm not being funny, she's 14 and she found this out. Like, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, you can make inroads and everyone is valid. And I just found that really encouraging when I was reading her story. I was like, this is lush. And it also showed me that the future generation, they're doing it. They're out there. It gave me
thank God somebody's got
someone's on it, so that was really reassuring as well. And I found this little interview with her, and where she was talking about lots of different things. And they asked her a couple of really good questions. One was, what is your favourite invention of the last 100 years and why? And she said, the smartphone. It has revolutionized communication, entertainment, work, and even our health. She said that we've gone from responding to text to actually GPS, cameras, health tracking. And she was like, the access to information is amazing. And what we can do is use that information to learn about our planet and gain a deeper connection. She said, a deeper connection to our planet.
Oh.
I know.
I was about to say, yes. Oh, she is a typical 14-year-old then. She's like, oh, my phone is amazing. No, she's still bringing a next level view.
Next level response there, the connection to our planet. And then one of the questions was, and I thought this is a really cute one for us to end on today, is what do you want to be doing in 15 years? And if you could read her answer.
In 15 years, I hope to be in a leadership role within a field I'm passionate about, driving innovation, mentoring others, and contributing to meaningful advancements that benefit not only my organization, but society as a whole in STEM. Oh, cute.
Society as a whole. That's what she's aiming for, and good for her, I hope. And I'm sure she's going to absolutely smash it. But what makes you feel good? Even
if she achieves that and exact the timeline she's talking about there, she still won't even be 30 yet.
I know.
That's what an absolute go-getter.
I know. Sheyna Patel from Florida.
Wow. What a cool kid.
Very cool. Very cool. So there are 3 women today. So we've got Shayna, Allison, and Sanae.
Do you know, I mean, it's like, you're never too old. It's never too late. Mm-hmm. You are always able, from any walk of life, to take on even an overwhelming challenge.
Yes.
And you're never too young. If you have an idea, even as an outsider, you might have thought of something that even the really well-trained and well-invested people who have all the technical knowledge and equipment haven't thought of. You might just see it a different way. So go for it.
I love that. Yeah.
So good. Such good examples.
Yeah. And I guess another connection, just reflecting just then, is like actually communities, isn't it? So you've got Sanae who's actually trying to serve her community and put policies in place to help her community. You've got Allison, who is literally serving her community food. And then you've got Shayna at the end, who is all about connection, wasn't she, to the world and, you know, the environment. And so actually community is quite a big feature there.
Oh,
actually.
Gorgeous.
Didn't think that when I was writing it till then, but there you go. Cute as
Quite Christmassy, really. That spirit of, yeah, I think that's all come together. Well, thank you so much for bringing those.
Thank you. And thank you to all our listeners for the whole year, and thank you for sending me your Spotify raps and stuff. That was amazing. And thank you so much for sticking with us and learning with us and letting us do this little podcast journey that we're on. It's been amazing.
It has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope you have a very restful winter holidays. And I'm sure we'll be back in 2026. Happy Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you for listening to this episode of She Changed History. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Find us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you've got any ideas of women you'd like us to cover in a future episode, please comment on the socials or email us at shechangedhistory@gmail.com. Catch you next time.